Hi there, listeners. So we are on the road this week. StarCast is at, where are we? Vista, California, at the headquarters of Living Earth Crafts, which is a company that makes, for those of you who don't know, amazing tables and equipment for spa treatment rooms around the world. And they have brought in a group of about 30 industry thought leaders, consultants, heads of global brands to see the newest and latest equipment and give some feedback. And so I thought I'd take advantage of that and have some personal chats with people. So I was lucky enough to have Maggy Dunphy join me tonight. Thank you for joining us, Maggy.
Absolutely.
So Maggy is currently Senior Director of Spa and Wellness for Coral Tree Hospitality. Many of you know her from her days at Hyatt, at Destination
Hotels. Yeah.
And where else have you been? So many places.
Well, the interesting thing is Coral Tree Hospitality is an offshoot of the good old days of Destination Hotels, which became Tourist Hospitality.
Two Roads, right?
Yep. And then Hyatt acquired Two Roads, and an offshoot, Coral Tree Hospitality, came to life. It was really initially a holding company for those properties that couldn't be Hyatt's. And it's just grown into, I think, one of kind of the coolest independent hotel management companies out there. And it's, you don't see the Coral Tree brand because we're not about a brand. We're independent. So Coral Tree Hospitality has over 40 properties, plus vacation rentals in Hawaii, Vail, Snowmass. So we kind of have two different markets that we think we do really well.
That's so great.
Yeah.
How many spas do you oversee now?
Well, we pretty much doubled spas in our portfolio this past year. We're now up to 11, I think. But we just recently opened Ascend Spa at Hotel Polaris in Colorado Springs, and Pier 66 in Fort Lauderdale. The hotel is opened, and we'll be opening the spa there, beautiful spa, in March. And then we recently took over the management of Red Mountain Resort.
Wow, the destination resort.
Yeah, so super. And also Poco Diablo, a small little boutique property in Sedona. So we really pretty much doubled our spa portfolio. And they're all so different, which is what I think makes Coral Tree Hospitality so unique.
So what are you spending much of your time on with all of this going on with acquisitions and new builds? Where are you focusing?
So the two focuses, one is on spa operations, optimizing spas, et cetera. But I think the biggest thing that that I'm doing right now for Coral Tree, where I feel like I have the biggest impact, is how we can get the wellness into all of our properties, even ones that don't have spas, whether it's in the food and beverage side of things, or whether it's a good night's sleep, and just doing small things to have a focus. And to me, that's really fun because we can take just a 3-star property that's, just small and we don't think it needs a focus on it. But I think that every traveler out there is looking for some element of wellness. Again, it can be something super simple, like, water in the lobby when you come in. What are we doing to provide a good night's sleep? Are we offering maps to give you something to do in the morning to just be outside and go for a walk? Elevating our fitness centers. We partner with Technogym with a lot of our fitness centers. So it's really just getting that message out. And I love that, but organically. It's not like mandated and you have to do X, Y, and Z. And we also practice what we preach. So there's a really big focus on our associates in the home office. And then what are we doing, again, for our associates and team members with a focus on better food in the cafeteria? A healthy and happy staff makes happy guests.
Exactly.
So it's a really big focus for Coral Tree, and I'm happy to be a part of, elevating that.
What kind of spa trends are you seeing from the guest perspective this year? What are you planning for? I mean, is it more of massages and facials, or do you think guests are looking for something different now? Are you changing up your menus? What's on the docket?
I'd say if I had to make an overall statement, it would be we're really simplifying. Some of our menus have just gotten so many choices. The Cheesecake Factory menu, and it's really too many choices. but really simplifying, going back to basics, but also trying to tie in what's going on outside the four walls of our spas. We have an opportunity to. We're at these beautiful resorts all over the country. So how are we tying into being outside in nature? For some that are doing renovations, we're looking at doing the sauna, cold plunge, the thermal lounge, any new construction that we're doing. And there's several properties that we're working on that will be open in the next 2 or 3 years that we're the management company on it, is really that social component. So again, I'll call it the thermal lounge, the indoor outdoor space, and also really focusing on the communities and the areas where we are, so we can focus on that local market. It's really important. I really think so people can escape right there in their backyard, that staycation concept. And maybe it's like may feel a little old school, but people need it. And to not have to go very far, but go to these beautiful properties and be able to really feel like you got away and you paused and you were able to do that.
So you find that the local community will come stay over, or do they just eat at the hotel or
Both.
use the amenities? Both?
Yeah, both.
Do you have memberships at your properties?
Some of them do. Some of them do. And it is a focus. When we can, we do it. Like at Pier 66, it's a really big component of the whole property, the membership, the social membership there. So when we can, we're doing it. And so each of our properties is very different.
Well, you're lucky that way. You don't really follow such a big brand standard mandate.
And it's not cookie cutter. And the one consistent thing, of course, we want is that you get like incredible service, and that you leave like transformed in some way or another. But again, each of our properties is so different.
Well, that's kind of fun for you because it's not the standard pricing and brands, and each one can be its own.
Yes, it is. Sometimes there's certain departments that want to see what are your SOPs and they're really different. We have templates, to follow to recreate the wheel, but really each of our properties is different. Again, in regards to pricing, has to do with what area are you in. Commission structures, right, have to do with what area are you in, what's the composite doing. So it really is, each little gem is very, very, very different.
Do you have any like interesting or unique services at any one property that you'd like to highlight?
Well, again, I think the creativity and what some of our spa leaders are doing. Um, a lot of people are getting into the sound baths and taking that, the pool that's like the public pool, not the public pool, but the resort pool, I'll say. And in the evening, doing the sound baths, the floating sound baths. And I just think that's just such a great way to use, to use a space that's closed, but generally very centralized. So people are looking out and saying, like,
And they wait, I want to go and have that.
And then the flip side of that is Suncadia in Washington State. They kind of did it backwards, and they said, we want to offer this to our team members. And so at their pool, they offered this sound bathing. They were just giving it a try, but really focusing on what are some cool little wellness things we can do for our team members to get them, on board and to understand it, and then do the other side of it and then offer it to the guests. I thought that was super creative.
That is really interesting. So we were here, as I mentioned, at Living Earth Crafts headquarters. They make Earthlight, Living Earth Crafts, Continuum, Tara Spa Therapy are all their brands. And we tried lots of equipment today. Did you see anything that really you thought was different or innovative?
Yeah, I think I think it's out there, like some of the mind sync that we did, really focusing on our brains and on our mental health. And I think it continues to evolve. And I think, each year Living Earth LEC has perfected it a little bit more. And it's because people are looking for it. We're short staffed, and many of our properties, we have spaces that are unused. So how can we take these spaces and create, these experiences that guests walk away changed, like physically and mentally changed, but we don't necessarily need staff to do it. So the wave chair with the mind sync was just,
Well, I'd like to own one.
yeah. But what I liked about it too is it you could either get it to relax and go to sleep or to energize you. So I love that they're really kind of working through the technology continues to evolve and evolve and evolve and Living Earthcrafts is embracing it, and they really see there's a market for it because there is, and we're looking at that. It's a piece of furniture that can change. You can create a whole menu over, and can really change your offerings and go from a typical spa to a focus on wellness and well-being.
That's great, Maggie. So my last question is, we're beginning of 2025, uncertainty in the air, even though the inauguration has already happened, the election's over. We thought, oh, there will be an election and then the uncertainty will go away, but we're realizing that there's always uncertainty. But it sounds like there may be some softening in the market, but we're feeling pretty bullish about spa for 2025. What's your outlook?
Well, again, I think focusing not on spa, but on wellness and well-being, and 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 providing programming and opportunities for people to come in, whether again it's just to sit in your sauna, but promote it more. I think it's taking a step back and saying, what do we have, and how can we I'll say market it, but how can we position it so it's an asset that we have that we can not only monetize it and make some money from it, but also provide this service, for people. So I think we need to be looking at that. And also that again, without, I'll call it, the therapies that we don't, I don't want to necessarily say touchless therapies, but um, where it's a little less, a little less expensive. It's a little less money that they may come in for one service, but can come in whether it's a day use fee. We need to do that, and we need to focus on what are some of the different things we can be doing in those spaces
To reach more people.
to reach more people, and also to have them come back. But they may only say, I'm going to do one treatment while I'm here for 4 days, but how can we get them to come back each day to experience some element of it, not necessarily spend so much, but to be able to, again, do a day use fee and use the steam sauna, cold plunge, if that's, what we have, or to utilize one of these services. So I think we really need to be looking at that. And, there was someone, I think, I don't remember who, but that brought up today the importance of also looking at how we can be taking care of our teams. And, not only in the spa, but at our properties, in regard to mental health or physical health, give them a break. And if we have some things we can do, maybe it's, allowing them to use the fitness center on off hours. Again, healthier options in our cafeteria, in our employee cafeterias, or some of these, touchless services that they can come in and just feel better, and then obviously perform better.
Well, certainly, if the staff sees that they try this equipment and they feel better, they are much more likely to promote it to the guest anyway, and that helps us all in the long run.
100%. I think we all need to focus on that, and taking care of our families, and then they ultimately take care of our guests.
Well done. Thanks again, Maggie Dunphy, for joining us. Always great to see you.
Thank you. It's great to be here and to see you.
Tammy Pahel, Director of Wellness for Carillon Resorts, Florida. Really don't need to introduce her. She's been a proponent of touchless wellness for many years. You were prescient in bringing that trend on. I'd like to know what made you say this is a good idea whenever it was, 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
Actually, I was in Paris it's called the Hotel and Spa Forum. If you haven't gone to the event, it's really great. It's been there 18 years. And I looked around and I saw a bunch of new technology that I'd never seen. So not knowing that COVID would happen.
Oh, you didn't know COVID?
I didn't know. And so I look around and I started talking to the technology people, and 7 companies wanted to break into the US market. So I said, I can be your platform. Come and let's start something new. Then we were going to launch it in March, of course, 2020, and it was not going to launch. So we launched it in July. So I really felt it was perfect timing. And I think COVID really, even though it was a terrible, horrible thing, it did make us look at ourselves and say, what the hell are we doing? I think people were looking at their marriages, they were looking at their health, they were looking at everything. Because we were with our spouses, they used to accept, and I said, we have friends. So that started it. Yeah. Right. So that's really how it all started.
So let's sum up what we're talking about here in terms of technology, because some are devices and some are rooms, environmental, right? We've got cryo, we've got infrared saunas, regular saunas, we have LED frequency, we have PMF devices. And then what else have you got? You've got a
Salt.
imagine
Yeah.
salt rooms,
Yeah.
therapy.
We have like 24 different technologies, but they all surround around salt, which I've seen amazing things come out of salt. Red light, blue light, green light, those are really now at the forefront. I mean, we see what, LEC is doing. And I think that trend's not going to stop. One of the things that I will say that in 4 years, we almost approached $1 million coming out of the pandemic, which is
Revenue on
and revenue.
devices.
Yeah. So it's something I do think people just need to be more aware. Like what we went through yesterday, I thought was very informative. I think it opened people's minds to like, hey, this could be something that I should add, right, to their resort or their hotel. But I think it's something that's going to continue. You're going to continue to see new companies coming out with different frequency healing technology. But those four, salt, frequencies, what do we say, the lights, and cryo.
So, yes, we want to talk about what to have, why to have it, how to charge for it. I want to go back to what you said about the $1 million. Is that per year or is that cumulative in the
Cumulative. That's in 4 years.
That's vacations.
Right.
So,
But that's a lot of money because there's no payroll.
no late.
And it all falls to the bottom line. So the return on investment is pretty quick. If the equipment is 50,000 and under, you definitely, now marketing's the big key. I know a lot of us talk about this all the time. You have to market to your customer. You have to educate them. It doesn't happen overnight, right? But what we did and what we do is every fitness person, we have 28 fitness instructors. They've all went through the technology. Our hotel reservation team has gone through it. Our wellness concierge. So we make everybody, when we get any kind of new technology, everybody has to go through it so they know what it is. And I think that's a hard thing to do because you're taking people off the floor. You're allowing them to do something, experience something, but you have to market it. But we did. Like in our spa, if you go elevator banks, we have TVs that run a loop of different technologies. So people are like, oh, what is that? Our relaxation lounge has it. So everywhere you go, you're seeing this over and over. And I think that's...
Oh, it helps because the guest doesn't know if they want a biocharger. I mean, they never heard of it. So we have to show them what it is and what it does. So, I mean, in terms of expense, you've got $100,000 Prism Light Pod. You have much less expensive technologies. Remember the Avicen thing you started with? So let's talk about how you balance that ROI on what to purchase and what should the return rate be.
I'm just going to tell a story. A COO who was over 27 different resorts. They were all ski resorts. So he came down with his wife and he did the muscle recovery. What his thoughts were...
And let's say what the muscle recovery is. It's one of her circuits.
Yeah, it's a circuit, but it has like cryo. It has, we use red light therapy. Then we also have the salt float bath, 800 pounds of Epsom salt. We use Vemi, and we use the Halo. So those people come through and do a circuit, and they buy that. But he came to do that circuit. But he was so brilliant because he's like, you know what? I'm going to make people ski more. I'm going to make money off this. But if somebody who sits at a desk all day, right, and then they come to be a ski warrior over the weekend, they might go out evening for a couple hours and then Saturday and then recover. So he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to promote a ski package with this. So I think that's the thing you have to think about, where you're located. What is it that you can enhance, not just the spa experience, but maybe golf is a big one. the recovery for a golfer.
So smart to package it with a like-minded activity. So how do you decide how to price something?
I'm not saying everybody can do that, but we do everything we do, even cryo. It's 3 minutes, $99. Everything. Halo.
3 minutes, $99. I like it.
Yeah. Oh, I like it too, but not everybody could do that. Maybe in some areas you couldn't. I'm in Miami Beach, so you know what I mean? I think New York, Miami, bigger cities, you can probably get a little bit more.
What is the least expensive of these options you offer?
Light therapies. The light therapies we sell for because they're 10 minutes or 15 minutes, depending what you choose. So that's like $59.
And the most expensive would be the cryo.
$99.
Because that's a very expensive device, of course. So have you looked at, each device discreetly and which brings the return more quickly?
Well, I will say cryo is leading always.
Because of demand?
Yeah. I mean, I think people are more educated on cryo, just like the ice baths. They're more educated. That's something people are like, oh, yeah, I know about.
Well, if you go on Instagram, right, everyone's doing it and all the athletes are doing it and celebrities are doing it. And that drives demand among the normal rest of us. So,
yeah, so that's popular.
That's had a good uptick. Plus, with a 3-minute booking time, what's the turn time on that service?
Well, it's 3 minutes. So really, we block it for 10 minutes.
So you can get the room cleaned up and ready.
And get it in. But cryo is leading. Red light, green light, blue light therapy. That's another big one. Halo. I mean, we had a Halo for $15,000. And the first year, now we were coming out of COVID and everybody wanted a healthy immune system. We made $48,000. So you want to talk about your return on investment was in months, for the Halo. So again, it just is all about marketing and educating people. And that's how you're going to.
What took longer? I'm imagining the float tank, big investment.
Yeah, it's not. It's $20,000. It's two person. We got the big one because athletes, Miami Heat, 5 of the 15 guys come and do the muscle recovery.
And they're a little on the tall side.
Yeah, so they can be in it diagonally. But, it's $20,000. That generates probably about 50, close to 50 a year. And again, the only expense you have is salt.
The salt is expensive, but it's, it's negligible in the course of things. So which of these has proved the most popular? You say cryo, is that the number one?
Cryo, salt therapy, halo therapy. We have a salt chamber where 4 people can go in at a time, and we charge $99 for a half hour. But it's, look at 4 girls, 2 couples, whatever. So that's a busy thing because people are doing an experience together.
Right. Community.
Yeah.
Do you find that clients are adding these on to traditional spa services, or are they coming just to have the touchless?
No, I mean, look, we had a couple that were competing bodybuilding for like a year. And they called our hotel reservation team and said, hey, we know your wellness. What do you have for recovery? So, of course, they sold them the muscle recovery circuit. They did it every day. That's $499. And they were doing it each person paid $499 and they did it every day. But when they left, they felt amazing. They were like, oh my God, my body feels so great. So once people try something, they like it. But back to your point of what we've recently done is we have something called Relounge, and it has electrodes from the base of your neck to the lower back. So what that does, you're laying on it and it's stimulating your muscle tissue and relaxing it at the same time.
It feels like little shocks going down your spine.
You did it, right?
I've done it a few times.
Yeah. And then you get a massage. It's incredible. Amanda Frazier, who's the president of Forbes, she came in and she had a shoulder that was a mess. She's on a plane all the time flying. And she said, what can I do? I said, come on. So I put her in Relounge and then she got a massage. She said, Tammy, I have no pain, none. So I think, once you get people to do it, it sells itself.
Well, you had a very smart idea, I felt, in the early going, making those circuits, because again, clients didn't know what these things were. And so Tammy wove them together into a circuit that was purpose driven. You heard her mention the muscle recovery. What are some of the others?
Talk, sleep wellness. And in our rooms, in our hotel rooms, we have a bright bed that's AI driven, and it tracks how you sleep. And then the bed adjusts to how you sleep so that you sleep better. So the average guest sleeping with us 4 nights, they will improve their sleep by 75%. Now that's all data driven. It's all coming from data, and we do that. And then we do a sleep wellness circuit because a lot of people, in fact, I think it's $39 billion are spent on sleep, on issues that they can't sleep. So we have a sleep wellness circuit for 4 nights. That's a very popular, but they're also getting the technology in the room as well as, we're about to add circadian lighting to the bright bed so that it's synchronized. So you say, I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock. The bed lulls you to sleep. The lights go dim. In the morning, you want to wake up at 7. The lights go on. The bed, again, rocks you awake, plays music, all this stuff. But it definitely makes a difference. We were just on CBS Miami for our sleep wellness retreat, and we've gotten tons of PR. I mean, if you add technology, believe it or not, people will be dying to talk to you.
Well, it really helps when you can show the guest data at the end of 4 days that says, look, you're sleeping better. I mean, you can't really argue with that. It's not an ephemeral feeling. It's data driven, and we do love our data. So in terms of how to arrange your facility, do you give thought to having touchless in one area? Do you sprinkle it throughout? What has worked for you?
Well, I would tell you 10 rooms are all in the same area because you're going to go, if you're in a circuit, you're going to move from one piece to another. In the cryo room, because it's a big room, we have that and then well systems, which is the massage, and we have a power plate. So some circuits for the detox, you use some of this stuff. So we try to, group it so that people wouldn't have to exactly move from room to room, but, it'd be great to have it in one room, but at the same token, then you can only have one person in that space for 2.5 hours. The way it is, they move and you can keep
tracking around.
Yeah.
How many square feet is the spa, Caroline?
Well, we're 70,000 square feet. We have a lot of space.
What's on the lower level only where the treatments are?
Fitness, our fitness center, 10,000 square foot fitness, our integrative and functional medicine is on that floor.
And how many treatment rooms?
We have 28 treatment.
28 treatment rooms. And how many of them are on touchless?
No, we have 28.
28 with treatments and another 10. So if you're adding, say someone here has none of this, but they like to try it. I mean, is there a place you'd recommend starting?
You have LEC that anybody can try anything, anytime, But if you're in Miami and somebody...
No, I'm sorry. I meant in their facility. Like what would you maybe say, try this first? Guests will get it more quickly.
Red light, blue light, green light, those lights are really, we saw visually how it changed that one.
Hard to argue with that.
Yeah. So I would say absolutely, because we also couple it with facials. So right now we're running a special, our basic facial's $249, and we sell it's called Neolight, but it has blue, red, and green. We actually include that. So what we do is just charge $200 for the facial and $49 for that. But that was to get people to experience it. And, a lot of times people have anxiety with not knowing what something's going to do to them. So we just thought, well, we're going to try this and see how it goes and see if we get repeat bookings from it. So
how about some advice for those of us in the room that might think this is a great idea, but how do I get my owner or, brand to buy into it? I mean, spa's about touch. It's about personal relationship. This feels impersonal to some people. How would you present that to someone in order to get them to buy into the concept?
Well, if you focus on red light, I would say that if anybody bought that, your return on investment would be probably 6 months, 7 months, because that's anything under 50,000. We've seen the return on investment within 6, 7 months. If it's 100, like we have a Everest, Cryo Everest, that's 120,000 or 25,000. It's going to take you more than a year to pay that back. Even though it's popular, it's going to take you more time. $22,000, that's nothing.
Well, I think the other thing for us, and you can talk about it, is the use of the space, dedicated space for equipment when you have a dedicated technology versus something like the bed that be designed the best so to be multi-purpose so that we get the utilization out of the world. So is there anything, I know you have a lot of space, but maybe.
Yeah, but I think I'm unusual because I do have a lot of space. Most spas don't have that kind of space. Most spas have maybe 7, maybe 11 treatment rooms, so they're limited. But what I did like about your bed is when I have a facial, if I'm an esthetician and I have somebody in there getting a facial, I can't say, hey, I think you should do red light after this, because I don't know if it's booked or not, right? So you don't want to, the esthetician doesn't want to say that. So having it where it's a bed that already has it in there, it's an easy upsell because you're in the room. So for operations, I think your piece makes more sense in general, just because you don't have to move somebody. You don't have to figure out, is the availability there? But it's popular. I mean, we have 2 different options for red light because it's so popular.
So it sounds like your plan going forward, Tammy, would be to go more full in. I mean, where's the balance of touchless versus traditional to you? What do you think that looks like?
Touch is never going to go away. It's always going to be number one. Massage will always be a leader. But I will say that we've seen an increase in our facial business because of the red light. You see more people interested in getting a facial with the red light. So I think that's a big, we increased year over year just with the red light, and adding it as an add-on, like $25,000 just on that kind of promotion.
Good.
So, when you say $22,000, it's nothing in comparison to some of the other technology.
So the strategy to sell this concept is look at data, call Tammy.
And I do have data though. I do have year over year just on red light. If you just wanted to know about red light and you had to show somebody, I do have that. And they could, not focusing on a piece of equipment, but red light itself. How much money did we make out of that almost $1 million?
Besides the salt tank, nothing else really has a cost per service, does it? Yeah. So when you're looking at your ROI, cost of the device, deployment of it, no labor her front desk staff guides guests to and out of the treatments. It's not a licensed provider. And so you can then, through pricing, back into a formula about how quickly you could get your money back. Have you brought anything in that has not really panned out that you wouldn't recommend trying?
Well, I told Jim and I had a private conversation. I have had technology companies work with me that I asked them to remove the technology because it would break down. It wasn't, when people buy a package, because we also sell our services like red light, you can buy a pack of 10 because people might come in and do, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They might do it 3 times in a week. Well, when technology is broken down and they bought a package, they're not very happy. And if it breaks down and then you don't get it fixed for a couple of weeks.
And the technicians in some other country.
Yeah. So, I think, with LEC, you're guaranteed to have a solid company. They've been around forever. I think the other scary thing, and I always tell people, you have to trust and you have to know something about the company you're working with, because if it does break down, how fast is that going to get fixed? What's going to happen, right? But with LEC, I mean, they're here, they've been around forever, they're trustworthy, they take care of their customers. So that's the stuff
Mitigates risk.
I tell people that's what you have to do. You have to focus on who you're getting this equipment from, and are they legit? Because ever since really, what's it called now? It's not technology, they call it
biohacking.
Yeah. Ever since that came on the scene, there's so many companies. If you went to a biohacking event, I would ask you to ask anybody there, do you have any research? They look at you like you're crazy. So you also have to have a company that has research backing whatever they're claiming.
Like a clinical trial kind of thing.
Or white papers, some kind of research, But we listened to that gentleman yesterday. He has research. There's research that's proven. I mean, we saw it. We saw that lady before and after, but there is research for it. So I think that's the other thing people should always, whatever they're going to buy, just make sure it's a legitimate, great company, and that, they can trust that company, because especially if you're going to spend $22,000 or $50,000, you need to get that return on investment.
Well, it's all appealing and it sounds great, but Tammy's right. We need to look at, does it actually do what it says? Well, Tammy, want to thank you for sharing your expertise with us and being here and bringing such great success to Carillon Wellness. Well done.